Welcome once again today for the Wellbe Wednesdays event on self-motivation. Today's topic is all about self-motivation, secret to success. So, as we all know, motivation. The word is derived from the word motive, which means needs, desires, wants, or drives that one has within oneself. And it is also the process of stimulating people to take action. So let's learn more about self motivation today from Dr. James Devsogayam. Um, as you all know, Wellbe Work in association with IIP brings this program on every last Wednesday of the month. I'll just give you a brief about Wellbe Work. Wellbe Work as an organization focuses on mental and social well-being of individuals and individuals within organizations. We offer employee assistance program through assessments, confidential counseling that address personal, professional, and familial issues. As a part of our program, we offer workshops and webinars to create awareness. So that's a brief about Wellbe Work, and I would like to introduce International Institute of Psychotherapy. I would like Dr. Thaddeus to introduce International Institute of Psychotherapy now. Dr. Tad.
Good evening to all. Thank you, Mr. Divagar. It is a pleasure to talk about the International Institute of Psychotherapy, a couple of words. So the International Institute of Psychotherapy has been established by a team of multidisciplinary mental health professionals to be a forerunner in the field of psychotherapy. So Professor Dr. Padma Vibhushan, Dr. M. Sharada Menon is the founding patron of the International Institute of Psychotherapy. So the International Institute of Psychotherapy has been established with a mission to make available evidence-based psychotherapy intervention, research, training, and education that are built on the best available clinical evidence in order to promote optimal functioning of individuals across the lifespan. For more information on IIP, the International Institute of Psychotherapy, please visit the website www.iapsychotherapy.com. Thank you. Now it's the time to introduce the speaker of the day. Father Dr. James OMI is a consultant clinical psychologist with 15 years of experience. He majorly worked with substance dependence, epilepsy, and stroke patients. His interests are neuropsychology, personality, assessments, and psychotherapy. He has been teaching and providing research guidance to college students for over 10 years in India. He is an approved PhD guide of a university and also animates psychospiritual workshops. So besides, he is a founding member of the International Institute of Psychotherapy. So welcome you, Dr. James. And now the floor is yours. We are looking forward to listen to you. Thank you. Of Dr. James.
I think Dr. James is on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry about some of these inconveniences. I'm in a rural village here, so I came for holidays. That is why. Let's begin this talk. So I would like to thank Mr. Tad, Dr. Tad, Mr. Divakar for the wonderful introduction, and let's learn together what this self-motivation secret to success is all about. Okay, today there are no dearth materials on self-motivation. You open the internet, you open the YouTube, you have lots of TED Talks, plenty of self-help books. There are spiritual teachers, motivational speakers, and the list goes on and on. You have plenty of people to motivate people. And then, if that is the case, why one more talk on this topic? And what is the difference? You might ask. The reason, the difference for this talk is to understand self-motivation from a different angle, I thought. And the angle from which self-motivation is to be understood is to view self-efficacy as the basis for motivation, for all of motivation and behavior. So that is the way I think we need to understand. Before we go into self-motivation, let us start with first, what is motivation? In its basic sense, it is the need or desire or reason to do anything at all. This is why here. There is something that energizes, powers, pushes all our behaviors in a certain way at a certain time. From behaviors as drinking water to self-satisfying acts, self-immolation cause. So it is motivation that is the force behind all of behavior.
I think we've lost Doctor. Um, just give us a couple of minutes. Let's try and bring him back. Yeah. Now you're audible, Doctor. Yeah, you're.
Here it is.
We're not able to hear you properly.
It's getting.
And now we much than before.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Okay. So, before we move on to studying what is self-motivation, let us examine various theories that explain what is motivation. Though none of these theories is complete by themselves or by in itself, nonetheless, let us have a quick look at each of them. First perspective on motivation is the evolutionary perspective, which states, we can also call it fixed pattern of behavior, species-specific behavior. Species-specific fixed pattern of behavior. Hello.
Yeah, Doctor, I think because of bandwidth issues, you're dropping. I think
Mm.
let's just do the. We can shut down the
Is
laptop.
it okay? Is it okay?
Huh?
I can just go with my audio only. Is it
Yeah,
okay?
that'll be better. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Okay. I'll just stop my videos
Yeah,
and
and
I'll go with
stop the presentation also, because that would also take some bandwidth.
Okay.
Just the audio should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll finish that.
Sorry, we've just lost Dr. James. I just had a word with him to connect through the audio now. So I think it'll take a couple of minutes before he'll join us back. He's having some internet issues in his rural place. So really apologize for the inconvenience. And thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Just give us a couple of minutes. I think we'll get this started again. I think, Doctor, you'll have to unmute yourself. Um, if you're able to hear me, please, yeah. Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Now you're audible, doctor. Yeah. Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is really
No worries, doctor.
embarrassing.
Yeah. I think we can just proceed with the audio, so that would be helpful now. So you can just
Yes, I'll do that.
yeah.
Mm. Uh, Devakar?
Yeah, doctor.
Hello.
Yeah, doctor. You can proceed, doctor.
Please let. No, no. Only thing is for my. Please allow me this one. Please wait. The meeting host will let you in soon. For that, just I'm waiting for that. Just I need to open the presentation for that at least from the laptop.
I think
Not
without
getting more.
no with the
Father, you need not to share the presentation, Father. You can go ahead to speaking, no problem, because it will take bandwidth.
I'm not sharing. At least for me, and I mean for me, at least for me, for my purpose.
yeah, you
Then
can
you can open your laptop.
on the laptop, doctor.
So
You don't have
the
to.
laptop, what happens is I just logged in to the Zoom
Okay.
that got stuck with. Oh, 1 minute.
Okay. So I'll
Maybe.
just 1 second.
1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Shall I share the PPT, Father, for you?
Okay, 1 minute.
I will share it on my screen. I will share. You can probably speak.
I have the. Okay. Okay. So, am I audible, everyone?
You're.
Am I audible?
Yes. You're a doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, right. So we just looked at the theories of motivation. First one as evolutionary perspective, which speaks of our reflex actions or innate instinctual behaviors as motivators. So the second perspective is genetic and the brain reward system as motivation for our behaviors. So in our brain, we have the reward system, which is responsible for many of our behaviors, like say for our addictive behaviors, that's for smoking or drinking, or even behaviors could be positive addictive behaviors, sometimes excessive exercise, and so on. So these behaviors are motivated by our brain reward system. And the third perspective on the motivation is biological needs and drives reduction theory, which states our biological needs like hunger, thirst, sleep, and sex are the dominant drives which an organism, including human organism, strives to reduce in order to maintain the balance, maintain the homeostasis. And though these are biological needs, these behaviors are also influenced by psychosocial factors as well. The next perspective on human motive is the well-known Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And according to this, our human needs are structured the pyramidal order that our biological needs, like thirst, food, hunger, and all our biological needs are at the basis of the pyramid, and our safety and security needs come next, and such needs go on. And these needs, as you satisfy some of these needs, basic needs, you move on to the next level of our next level of needs that drive us to, that motivate us to behave, to fulfill those needs. And based on this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Clayton Alderfer built his own sort of motivational theory, which stated, classified these hierarchy of needs as existence needs, latentness needs, growth needs. So this is another perspective on human needs. So human motivation. The other important perspective on human motivation is that every behavior of ours is motivated to experience positive emotion, including those self-sacrificing, selfless, and altruistic behaviors, what we call as other-centered behaviors. Including those behaviors are motivated by our need to experience positive emotions in our life. So, according to this perspective, all our behaviors are linked to the experience of some positive emotions as outcome. The other perspective on our motivation is optimum arousal theory. It states that to balance between boredom and stress. So this theory states that not only we strive to maintain homeostasis or balance, but we also strive, we also look for some excitements. We also look for some stimulations in our lives. So like people wanting to engage in adventure sports like skydiving also happens because of this optimum level of arousal theory, which states that we want to be always in a state of optimal arousal, which means we should not fall into boredom or too much of stress in our lives. So we need to, the body or our human motivation is to maintain balance between boredom and stress. This is another understanding of human motivation. The other approach to understanding human motivation is David McClelland's acquired needs theory. That is, need for affiliation, achievement, and power are the motives that drive us to, they are the dominant. One of these could be dominant motive in our lives that drive us to behave in certain way. Okay. The other important theory for our behavior, motivate our behaviors, is Victor Room's expectancy theory of motivation, particularly applied in organizational behavior. So, according to this theory, if employees believe that there is positive correlation between efforts and performance, favorable performance will result in desirable reward. Reward will satisfy an important need. The desire to satisfy the need is strong enough to make the efforts worthwhile. So, when employees perceive these factors, they would be more motivated to perform their activities. And the other perspective with regard to motivation is extrinsic or incentive rewards as motivators for behaviors like bonus, paycheck, praise, and appreciation. And the other important, that is the important theory that is very much related to the self-efficacy as a basis for human motivation or self-motivation is called self-determination or self-motivation theory of Edward L. Dacey and Richard Ryan, which emphasizes that need for autonomy, competence, and relatedness are universal, innate, and intrinsic motivations for our behavior. So, a need for autonomy. From you could observe this from very early age onwards. Children want to be autonomous. They want to master something. They want to be competent in some area and or relate their relatedness to others or universal and innate and intrinsic motivations for our behavior according to the self-determination or self-motivation theory. So, with this brief background to understanding motivation, let us now turn on to what is self-motivation. What is self-motivation is to do what needs to be done without influence from others or situation. It's encouraging oneself to continue to make progress toward a goal despite challenges. The one defining feature of all the self-motivated and successful people is to push through their fears of failure, push from their comfort zone, and fear of the unknown, the uncertainties. And although they may not be the best, smartest, richest, and most talented persons. So, this defining feature is is the most important aspect of all those who are self-motivated. And these self-motivated and successful people draw on their inner strength to believe and to have a deep confidence in oneself. That is, self-efficacy and intrinsic motivation is the sure way, a sure fire to achieve one's goal. External factors like parents, teachers, or bosses may or may not provide motivations, but if one believes that he or she has the ability to perform a task, that person will be more, will be self-motivated, and they make efforts and then they achieve. Bandura's concept of self-efficacy as basis for self-motivation. What is self-efficacy? It is the belief in one's ability to affect changes in their lives and circumstances. This is the most powerful incentive to persevere through challenges to achieve one's goals in life. So it is the belief. It's not the actual ability. It is the belief in one's ability to affect changes in their lives and circumstances. It is the belief that one can bring about change, one can learn, or one can do something to change the situation. So that is what is basically self-efficacy is. According to Bandura, self-efficacy is the true basis for all self-motivation. Positive strokes and motivational talks to enhance self-image or self-esteem has only short-lived impact without self-efficacy. So we see teachers, parents, and others give positive strokes, positive feedback, and appreciations all the time. I mean, in order to enhance their self-image or self-esteem. But then, though they are supportive, they are not sufficient in themselves. Without the most important aspect of self-efficacy, that though someone might have self-image, self-esteem, all that, but then that has to be translated into self-efficacy. Only then people engage in behaviors. So these days we have a sense of entitlement severely damaging self-efficacy, self-motivation among many children, teenagers, and young adults. What is entitlement? Entitlement is the idea that people are endowed with the right to have certain benefits and material goods, whether they have earned them or not. Belief that they have a right to happiness rather than the duty to construct it themselves. So this is very common these days. I, as a parent, suffered in my life. Therefore, my children should not have difficulties. They should not face hardships. Therefore, I provide everything. I gave them appreciations, I gave them material goods, and uh, they don't work for it. They don't sort of wait for it. So what happens is when such things are done by well-meaning parents, teachers, in order to enhance their self-esteem, in order to keep them, their self-image bolstered, what happens is that they don't value the things that they get. They don't by themselves make effort, make choices, and then get things what they want in their life. So the result is what is easily obtained is cheaply held is true in people with entitlement attitude. You could see this happening in the lives of many children who get things easily, do not value those things, and they may take many of these material things or what they have received for granted. So that is what happens when people hold entitlement attitude instead of through their own choices, their own efforts, to uh, they have to earn it. So self-efficacy is not the actual ability to perform a task, because all of us will not have. Even if I believe that I could be someone, but then I may not have the aptitude, and I may not have the I may not be competent in that. But then self-efficacy is not the actual ability to perform a task, but the person believes about that ability. Basically, to say that I can do it if opportunities are given. I will, if efforts are made, and I could learn it, I will be able to perform that task. So that attitude is what is basically self-efficacy is all about. So what happens is with those people, those with high self-efficacy tend to feel more control over their environment and less uncertainties about their lives. And they also select tasks and activities in which they feel competent and confident. So those with high self-efficacy are very feel control over the environment. They are not the victims of the circumstances. They make choices. They fail. Sometimes they fail, and they make efforts again, again and again, and finally they achieve. They accomplish. So higher the self-efficacy, stronger the intrinsic motivation and the effort put forward to achieve one's goals in life. So those with high self-efficacy recovered from the failures and said that more quickly is strengthened. They are strengthened by achieving some goals which were thought to be unattainable previously. Overcoming initial failures bolsters self-efficacy and motivation. So when efforts are made, they're bound to make. They're bound to make mistakes, and they may no fail. And a failure is just their part of life. And then once they overcome initial failures, the first efforts, and they fail, and then they overcome such failures, which sort of strengthens their self-efficacy and leads on to self-motivation. Okay. So high degree of self-efficacy is attained through one's direct experience with success or failure, which is a mastery through purposeful effort. Verbal persuasion or modeling could help in the process. So just as a verbal persuasion, modeling someone or looking at someone will not really make someone self-motivated. What makes someone self-motivated is one's direct experience with success or failure. So, through purposeful effort, purposeful choices among the alternatives, a person attains self-efficacy. A child is naturally motivated to do many things, and when it accomplishes something, it is excited with the feeling, I did it. A teenager learning to drive a motorbike or car is the best example. Or any other church, even children, small children, when they perform something, when they achieve something, they are so excited about it. So they make repeated efforts despite failures, and when they succeed, they are thrilled with the feeling, I did it. So this is what actually makes them become more self-motivated. Their experience of failures and subsequently successes, overcoming failures and experiencing success makes them more self-motivated. Self-motivation happens when someone is passionate about something and they are willing to face failures, make sacrifices, and when they accomplish, they are overjoyed. This motivates them to do more in their lives. So, and self-motivation happens when someone is really mm, passionate about something that they want to achieve, like a teenager wanting to learn a car, or a person wanting to learn sports, or any other example we can take. So, and they are willing to face failures, make sacrifices, come out of their comfort zone, and they can they can get up early in the morning, they work on it, and after all these efforts, when they experience, when they feel accomplished, they are overjoyed, they're excited. And this excitement, this sense of accomplishment makes them more motivated. So that is what actually makes people more self-motivated and self-efficacious. So, as a sort of conclusion, to motivate oneself, one needs to increase self-efficacy by empowering rather than entitlement. Empowering means basically one makes choices among alternatives, pursues, follows through the choice, and puts in effort, and then accomplishes. That is what is empowering, rather than entitlement added to. That means they receive something because in order to boost their self-image, self-esteem, people tend to give praise, or teach parents tend to provide everything, or teachers tend to heap praises students. So such things may not be really effective. They may be useful for short term, but then for long term effect, they won't be useful. What is important is empowering. That means children or adults making choices, following through the choices, and then accomplishing a task, facing failures, overcoming initial failures, accomplishing a task, and then moving on to accomplish something else. So the other aspect to increase the self-efficacy is to know clearly why do you do, why do we want to do what we do. So this is what is purposeful effort. I do something for achieving this particular goal in my life. That is the purposeful effort I put in. So when there is purposeful effort for achieving some clear goal in my life, naturally my self-efficacy, my self-motivation is very high. What positive emotions will you experience when you accomplish? As I said already, all our behaviors are linked to emotions, particularly positive emotions. So whatever behavior we might be engaging in, they are linked to positive emotions, and including even some of the psychopaths whom we say their behaviors are completely abnormal. And what sort of positive emotion they would be experiencing, you might say, they have maybe the positive emotion of doing something harm, or causing someone harm, and so on. So it's possible they also experience some sort of positive emotion by engaging in antisocial activities. So what positive emotions will I experience when I accomplish something? And that accomplishment will make me feel, experience a positive emotion that I did it, and In turn, I will get motivated, self-motivated to perform more, do more. So in short, that makes me more self-efficacious. So this is about the talk on self-motivation, secret to success, particularly looking at it from the perspective of self-efficacy as the tool for self-motivation. Thank you very much. I hope you are all there. Am I audible? Am I there?
Yes, yes, Father.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I have completed.
I will open it for questions. If anybody wants
Yes.
to ask a question, please type it on the chat box. We will take the questions. So I have one question here, Dr.
Yes,
James.
Yes,
This is somebody is asking, how do we motivate oneself during this pandemic? Because it is everywhere, a lot of melancholic experiences, and the news, everything is talking about a lot of death and agony, and all the melancholia is going around. How do we self-motivate during such times, difficult times?
This is a very relevant question, and to motivate ourselves during this time of pandemic is to experience small and small successes that we perform, or small activities that we enjoy. Self-efficacy we have been talking about. Self-efficacy means that those accomplishments, small accomplishments that you are able to and we are able to accomplish during this time need not be great accomplishments, and to keep ourselves motivated.
Your voice was breaking. Yeah.
The attitude that we could overcome is basically belief that this will also go away, is basically self-efficacy. Is
I think, Doctor, you're on mute, so we're not able to hear you. Yeah, now we are able to hear you, but there's a.
okay.
Yeah, now it is much better. Yeah.
Hello, Chad. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Was that okay?
Now it is much better, Doctor. But
Okay.
that we could hear you probably after the question, everything.
Was my answer heard?
No,
I don't know.
I think you'll have to repeat yourself. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my answer was like this. Certainly, this time is discouraging. It's very gloomy and so on. Look at accomplishments that they have done in the past. Number of accomplishments they have accomplished, and it's because of their self-efficacy. If you believe in yourself, in your ability, in your ability that you could overcome, that this situation will be overcome, that itself keeps you motivated. That keeps you performing small tasks, small activities, even at home, which you can see as meaningful, as reinforcing, as rewarding. So that is what I think during this time we need to do. So we may not be doing a great, some of us may not be doing great things, but then small tasks, activities that we do, they keep us motivated.
Father, another question.
Yes.
Somebody is
Yes,
asking, another James is asking, Mr. James,
yes.
in time of grief,
Mm.
how to do the self-motivation in times of grief?
In times of grief, this is in times of grief, something, it's not the usual situation. So grief all is normal when some loss happens, and only in case of pathological grief or pathological grieving, people would need therapies and treatment and so on. But if it's a normal grieving process, it's okay to go through grief. It's a person is supposed to go through grief, mourning and grief. It's all maybe due to loss or anything. Grief happens, and grief has to be experienced. We have to go through as long as it is within the normal range. If it is a pathological grief, which may be in need of with treatment and therapy and so on. So grief is a different situation, and within all people experience grief, and then they bounce back. They bounce back because they have social support. They have if they look for social support, they try to change the situation themselves. If people are self-efficacious, they believe that they can bring about change in themselves and in others. And if if the environment is conducive, all the more it is good. Social support, emotional support available, and grief can be easily overcome. And the people who have this self-efficacious attitude, they face failures, they bounce back. So basically, self-efficacy means belief that I can overcome this. I will be able to face this situation and then bounce back from it. So hello.
Yeah, you're back again.
Yes, yes. Okay. So this is what exactly I said. This is what I see. To be motivated during a grief is not that easy. But then when social support, emotional support, and your belief that you can overcome, bounce back from the adverse situations will help you. So basically look for emotional, social support, and other forms of support to overcome, to change the environment and the circumstances. Is there anything else to add?
No other questions. Nobody has asked any other questions. I think Maybe because of the technical snag also, I'm not sure how much they could hear audibly.
Okay.
So if at all anybody has a question, you are free to email it to Wellbe and they can get back
Yeah.
to you with answers.
That will
And
be
this is the time to just express a word of thanks to all. So once again, good evening. And I express my sincere gratitude to Father Dr. James for having kindled and enhanced our self-motivation during this difficult time. I believe that we uh, start now to motivate ourselves and others as well. So I thank the WellBe Work and IAP team members for continuing to conduct this webinar series. And I especially thank all the participants who have attended the session very patiently with all the difficulties in the technical, front. And we hope you continue to participate in the next session, which is scheduled on Wednesday, 26th May, 2021. You will surely get the details of the webinar soon. And thank you all and have a wonderful evening.